Lovelies, my name is Jessica and welcome to Makeup.misfit, and I'm very excited about this Are You Afraid of the Pan update. Everything about this project, what I'm working on, guidelines, playlist, down in the description box. Go check that out if you are curious about any of it. But let's get into this. So of course we are going to start off with the products that have been in this project for the longest. Now first we're going to start off with the prompt Hey Arnold. This was a product that you are obsessed with, and for me I had to roll in this Too Faced Pop It Out Peach Blush. I have mentioned time and time again how much I adore this. My goal was to hit pan. Now I knew I was close at the last update, I just didn't know quite how close I was. But after a few more uses, I had hit pan. And then after I did that, I used it just a couple more times to expand it a little bit. So this is what she's looking like, and I'm so excited about this. I knew it was around the corner, but even with that, I still was not expecting to hit pan on this the day that I did. It was a very bittersweet moment, but I did absolutely enjoy that, and I was very excited about the fact that I had hit pan on it. I knew I was getting there and I finally made it. So this means that this is going to be rolled out, and I will be rolling something else in just a bit. So I had also rolled in the prompt Rugrats, which was a fun discovery. So for me, this Violet Voss Carebears palette fit that prompt perfectly. This is just such a very cute, bright, colorful 6-pan palette, and I've loved everything I've come up with out of this palette. My goal was to create 5 different looks. Now I've reached for this palette way more than 5 times, whether it was for 1 or 2 shades or to create a whole look, but I had to create 5 whole looks with just this palette. And unfortunately, I forgot to take a photo of my last 1 or 2 looks. I think I was sitting at look 3 or 4 last update. But I need to get in the habit. I need to get back into that. I've definitely fallen off taking photos of progress photos, or just photos of eye looks and stuff like that. So I need to get back into that. But I really enjoyed using this palette. One of my favorite looks at first was just using these 3 shades, and then another look was using these 3 shades. There was one that I did where I threw this in the inner corner. I had used this all over the lid, and I believe it was these 2 that I had used on the outer, and I was surprised as to how much I actually enjoyed that shade. I think I talked about that one in the last update. But then I did similar thing with these 2 shades in the outer, and then this one on the lid and this one in the inner corner. I was actually surprised that I enjoyed using this in the inner corner with this one on the lid and not switch the other way around. I did do it that way, but I liked how this looked on the inner corner better. So I've hit my 5 looks with this palette, which means this one's being rolled out too. So I get to roll in 2 brand new products so far this update. And then last but not least, at the last update, I rolled in Doug, which is awkward packaging. So of course I went with this MAC and Jeremy Scott face palette. Now, when I had rolled this in last update and I showed you guys, there was a bit of a spoiler with the bronzer in here because I'm just regularly using my bronzers. But if you've seen my bonus pans video, then you would have seen that I've already shown you guys what the bronzer is looking like. But this is the blush. Now my goal is to hit pan, and I really haven't used it as much as I thought I was going to. Is a deck of panning. I think I have my Deep Throat bronzer, my Deep Throat blush by NARS, and I figured I'd pair those 2 together really, really well. That's basically how I do it when I reach for this shade, but I reach for Deep Throat more than I reach for this. So I'm not wearing them together all of the time. I do want to start wearing this one a lot more, especially now that my Too Faced blush is gone and my Coralista blush is gone, which was from Deck of Panning. Now that I have those 2 out of a project, I really want to focus on this one a lot more and pair this either with Deep Throat or other blushes just to get a different look out of it, but I would really like to focus on this one. I'm not quite sure how long it's going to take to hit pan. It basically feels as though it's brand new. I have used it a few times even prior to this project, so I feel like it's going to take a little bit of time because I knew that the bronzer did. But that's okay. I'm alright if this isn't here for the long haul. So that is what those products have been looking like so far, which means I get to roll in 2 brand new products this update, and I'm very excited about that. So I'm just going to randomize 1 through 23, and then if I happen to land on a prompt that I've already had, then I will just re-roll until I do not. So there's 1 to 23, and the first one is 23, and I'm gonna need my glasses to see what I'm looking at here. So prompt 23, Nickelodeon Guts, a product that took a lot of guts to purchase. I have already used that one, so I'm going to re-roll for that one. That was my Give Me Glow Pastel Dreams palette, so I believe that was in the intro that I had rolled in that prompt. So 15 is the next prompt, which is Real Monsters, a product that used to scare you. Okay, so that one I'm gonna have to figure out what I want to use. And for my second one, number 7, which is Pinky and the Brain. So a product that makes you feel like you can take over the world. So that's exciting. So I'm gonna go try and find those 2 products, and I will be back when I have them. Okay, so I've picked my 2 products. This was kind of tough. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to use, how I wanted to go about this. So we're gonna start off with the first prompt that I chose, which was, I don't even remember now, number 15, which was Real Monster. So a product that used to scare you. So what I actually did for this was I chose a shade instead of an actual product. So I chose an eyeshadow, and the eyeshadow that I chose is from Sydney Grace, and I don't even know if Peach, Golden Peach. So this is the shade that I chose. So it is more of like a red toned shade in the camera. It looks just slightly more peachy, but it is a little bit more red tone in person. So this is a shade that I'm terrified of using. Not quite sure why I purchased it, to be honest, but I did it. So I feel like that would go well with this prompt because it's a shade that I'm scared of. And I haven't really used red eyeshadow. Like, I've kind of tried, but because it's more of like a peach tone, I feel like I could make it work with more peachy toned matte shades or shimmers or anything along those lines. It's not a straight red. So I feel like this should be an okay product to use. So it has never been touched. I've just only swatched it, but I've never actually used it. So my goal is just to create a dip. We'll see what that's looking like in about a month or so, but I'm feeling like with the fall time coming up, I will be reaching for this probably a little bit more. I feel like it'll be in here for a couple of months, which is totally fine with me. But that's what I decided to go with. And then for a product that makes you feel like you're on top of the world, which was the prompt, I'm trying to read without my glasses, Pinky and the Brain, I decided to go with another eyeshadow. Now this is where I was also kind of like tossing up the products that I wanted to use. There is a highlighter that I have in mind. I wanted to wear it, I wanted to use it, but I figured I kind of have a bit of a situation with a couple of eyeshadows, so I decided to roll in a second eyeshadow. Now this one, I don't know if I mentioned this one or not, but I do have a couple of issues with some broken shadows. So this happened to be one that broke. This is from Looxie, and this is actually Fuzzy Flamingo. I literally have never used this. Like, no, okay, that's a lie. I've used it like once, but I actually have both of the shades swatched out on my hand here. So I feel like that's a very bad angle to try and swatch. Is this gonna work? Maybe. So it is very pretty, and I did have it on my lids 1 or 2 times, and I really, really enjoyed it. But once I took it out of the packaging, like, it's shattered all over the floor. So that is literally all that's left of the shade. That's all that there was when I used it for the very first time, just that. So my goal is to finish off that Looxie shade, because that's probably not going to take me too long, and then just create a dip in this shade. Now I know this one is a bit of like a gimme product just because there's no product in here anymore, but I feel like with the time of year, those 2 shades go well together. It is something that I really enjoy. Like, I love a super sparkly eyelid. That makes me feel like I'm on top of the world and like I've just got my day handled. So it still fits the prompt instead of rolling in a highlighter. And I wanted to get used and get this shadow out of my collection just because of the state that it's in. So I may possibly repurchase that one in the future. We'll just have to see, but that's what I'm working on for the 2 prompts that are being rolled in. So 2 new eyeshadows, of course, but we have Sydney Grace Golden Peach and then Looxie Fuzzy Flamingo. And then I will still be working on my pink blush, which is not going to go with any of them, but we have that blush as well. So that's what I decided to do for this round. We'll see how the next few weeks go, and we'll actually see if I can get that Fuzzy Flamingo shade out of this project by the next update, because that would be kind of nice. And we'll just have to see how much use I have on Golden Peach before that update as well. But like I said, it'll probably be in here for a couple of months just because that color still does intimidate me. So it might take this upcoming few weeks just to like break myself into it, get used to wearing it, and then maybe October, November time I can just like hammer that shade onto my eyes and be good with it. So that's where we're at right now. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know the end of this video was kind of rambly there, so I apologize, but I will see you guys all later. Bye.